A heartbroken poem to bring you back together. If you've written a heartbroken poem because you're separated from your loved one, it could be something that can bring you back together. Writing poetry is a good way to deal with a breakup. And if you write a really touching heartbroken poem, you might impress your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend with how much you really care. You probably shouldn't write the poem the moment you break up and within an hour rush it over to them to read. A heartbroken poem, to be genuine, is something that will probably take at least a little time to write. You aren't going to want to just jot down anything that comes to your mind and start reading it out loud to your ex. Something like that will feel false and forced. You want this to be genuine if it's going to help you get back together. You don't have to be a great poet to write a heartfelt poem that can move your ex and make them see things in a different light. So if you've never written a poem before in your life, don't worry. It's not that hard to write a heartbroken poem once you decide to do it and you get started. The hardest part is getting started, though, so you have to make yourself do that. Then it will probably start to flow more naturally. First, just think about how you feel. Of course you'll feel things like sadness or hurt. But if you can compare that to something else rather than just say you're sad or hurt, it makes a more powerful poem. Likening a flooding rain to all the tears you've cried is better than just saying I've cried a lot. Comparing tears to rain is a little cliché, but it gives you the general idea of how you should use metaphors to make the writing better and more meaningful. In the poem, tell your ex what's different about your life without them, and how you'd like to have them back. You can list the reasons, as long as they're valid ones that your ex might want to hear. If you've not written much or any poetry, then don't worry about rhyming. Modern poetry rarely rhymes unless it's for comic effect. Just write kind of like you speak, but with metaphor and words that bring up a mental picture as you read. You can also be very honest in the poem in a way that might make you uncomfortable in the conversation. Especially if you won't be there when your ex reads the poem, it's easier to say things you might worry about saying in person, because there can't be an immediate rejection. So say what you want to say. It might not be easy to write something like that to give to your ex. You might worry that they'll think it's silly. But you'll always know that you tried. Even if your heartbroken poem doesn't change anything, at least you fought for what you wanted. To learn exactly what to do and what to say, to get your ex-lover back in your arms, click the blue link in the video description box. Or type this URL in the address box of your browser. shortway2.com/xback. Learn exactly how to stop your breakup, divorce or lover's rejection. Even if your situation seems hopeless,